Good morning and welcome to the beach, kind of, sorta. So I am doing our practice in a new space today, and sometimes you do your practices in a new space as well. Let me turn this music down a little bit. And what that means is to just be aware of things. I did bring my strap and towel. So today's practice, because last week was more vinyasa, more flow. So this week is we're going to do more holding in the traditional poses. And my hope is that in each one of those poses that we're holding, you'll extract a little more, let's just say, whatever. When you're in that pose, are you judging whether you can hold it long enough? Are you stepping out to honor yourself because you should? Are you finding that intrinsic word that can enhance your practice? So we're going to start by sitting on our mat. As I step away, the quality of the audio will change. So step over here and come to Sukhasana, comfortable pose. So you can sit any way that you like. You can sit on a sofa if you'd like. And this is where we come to Namaste. We just come to the moment to be present. Let me scoot up a little bit more. You know that when we sit, we need to also be mindful as to our bandhas. So Mula Bandha, action of Uddiyana, lifting our spine, relaxing through the neck and shoulders, lifting up through the crown of the head. Feel free to support your back with hands upon your shins or your knees, or to express them in a mudra gesture. And then you can lower, close your eyes, or just gaze straight ahead and tune into your breath. So moving with the breath, awareness of how long it takes to come in, how long it takes to go out. Sensing your body for this practice. So if there are things that you need to be a little careful of, if your back is cranky or your hips or your knees, you should honor those. Knowing that child's pose or just waiting is always there. Kind of working to slow the mind down, stepping away from this very busy time of year where so many demands are on us, maybe sometimes self-imposed. Now, if you can use the nasal passages, the breath is in and out through the nose, but if you need to breathe through your mouth, of course, do that. Pause at the end of your inhale and exhale when they arrive. Engage through your abdominal wall, so it helps to facilitate the release of the breath from your lungs. If that makes you feel dizzy at all, return to a natural breath. And then as you open your eyes and lift up your heart and stretch your arms to the side and let them come all the way up together, join the palms and float the hands down into your heart. And this is where we adjust our attitude of gratitude. So that attitude of gratitude means we practice self-acceptance, appreciation. So I am just trying to silence my device here, if I can get that right. Okay, I'm now on Do Not Disturb, which is where we want it to be. Let's stay seated and with the hands at Namaste. On the breath in, let the arms rise all the way up, as up is feel comfortable for you. On your exhale, release your left arm, let the right arm go more skyward. Lean into the mat to the side as you laterally stretch over. Push on the floor as you come back up. Release the low hand, take a breath in. Sometimes you can look up. And then as you release your right hand, straighten your left elbow, lean over the other way. So let's do a few rounds of this. The inhale is to lift, and the exhale is to lean. The inhale is to lift, and the exhale is to lean. Check your top arm, make sure that it is straight. A couple more times. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we lean. Last time on your right side. Inhale, lift. Exhale. As you come up, put both hands behind you, and we'll just do the chest version of the cat and cow. So drawing those shoulders back, lifting up the heart, breath in, and then letting the shoulders come forward and bowing your head down. A few rounds of opening and closing with the breath. So sometimes after a heavy night's rest, your neck and shoulders may feel the tension from remaining in one position for a long period of time, so this might feel just splendid. Before you go to that opening on the next time, just pause at the center. Go ahead, lean back on your hands in any fashion and bring your feet up, and you can have them together or let them slide. This is where I drop my hips from side to side. So moving down my torso. For some, this will be felt through the hips, for some through the back, for some through the shoulders, and maybe it's not much at all for you. Bandha Konasana, the butterfly pose, the bottom of the feet come together, place them where they're comfortable. I'm leaning way back on my hands, so now I'm going to use my fingers to get myself up. If you're sitting on the mat, you're going to have a better contact with the pelvic floor. Feel free to scoot your buns away, as we like to say. So I'm going to lean back on the hands and maybe just let my knees bounce a little bit to the side. And then either using one hand, two hands is a little more demand on your back and your core, so make sure everything is zippered up. If you release both hands, or one hand is fine. Lifting up the chest and bringing that heart forward, so that hinging motion moving through your hip joint. Now the body sometimes will make its own tension, so relax through the neck and shoulder, relax through the hips, use the elbows to keep the knees wide, hinge forward, pain-free, and now bow the head. Could be looking at the toes, could put your head on your feet if you can. As you roll up, take right foot, extend forward, pull left knee up, right hand goes around the knee. As you're sitting very tall and that extended right leg is active, release your left hand behind you, draw the left shoulder back so you create a spiral, minimal spiral to begin with. So you're holding the knee up, using it to draw yourself further back. You can grab further around the knee if you wish. Every breath in lifts the spine, every exhale, you turn the body. And return back center. Now let the left knee fall open. Once again, the hands help to elongate your spine. Hinge forward again. Say good morning to your hamstrings. It's appropriate for some of you to bend the knee, but if you can keep it straight, keep it straight. Being on a pillow or a blanket is a little bit easier. So I'm hinging forward, moving my hands alongside my leg, avoiding the temptation to reach for my foot. But I do have a strap and towel later when I'm on my back. I can use those arms extender. But for right now, just let the hands be here, or it might be just better for you to keep those hands behind. And the sense of laying the body onto your thigh. And rolling yourself up. So let's do the left leg out, the feet are apart, bend in the right knee, hold with left hand, right arm goes behind. Roll the shoulder back, lift nice and tall, and then just turn to look off to the side for the moment. And as it would make sense for you, go a little further and look behind. And returning back center, letting the knee fall out, supporting the back, lifting up and hinging forward. Good morning to the other hamstring. Maybe noticing your symmetry or asymmetry. Tightening through your belly and drawing yourself up as you fold the legs back in for just a moment longer, or maybe you want to leave the leg out. Place the head on top of the spine as it tends to draw forward mostly, and let your head look from side to side. And then we're going to do half little swings. So my chin drops to my shoulder and sweeps across my chest to the other shoulder and then goes down. I only go down, I don't let my head drop back. I'm just a little weary of what is in my spine and how I might compress and cause damage. So I just let my chin go down. And as I roll myself back up, I'm going to remove my pillow or your blanket and come to all fours on your mat. Now how you position me, and some people have two devices. They have the one in front and then they also have a second one so they can use it either way. But whatever makes sense for you to be able to see and to hear me clearly. Coming onto the palms, knuckles is that option. Laying the hands down on the mat. Positioning your knees under the hips. I'm going to have my toes under because you know how I feel about bendy toes, but you could have them relaxed. Take a moment to really feel the weight shared between the four limbs. Now go through your body and make it supported. Because gravity is pulling on the back, it may tend to sag down, so tighten through the belly without tucking the bum under. So see if you can find what we call neutral spine. And at some point your arms might say, oh, I just would like to go back here. So try and stay over your hands as best possible. And now we swing that tailbone from side to side like a puppy would in slow motion. Bandhas, breath, balance, neutral spine. Turn it into a hula where you go under and around, being mindful of all the sensations through your back. Nothing too far, too fast, too soon. Changing directions. I'm going to relax my toes, part my knees, and give myself the first child's pose, which we know is always available. You can stretch the arms outward, you can fold the arms under, you can bend the elbows and put them in prayer behind your head. And once you're kind of tucked into this position, just notice how it grants you permission to come back and center yourself. So if today you're using a word, I did a practice yesterday and my word was acceptance. So when I came to my child's pose, I renewed that acceptance word for my practice. So as you release out of that child's pose, returning again to all fours, mindfully loaded, knees not together. Let's turn the right toes under and extend the leg back, watching that the hip doesn't drop down. Those hips are like headlights shining on the floor. And then you're going to press, or if you want to rock front and back a little bit, I'm just going to hold a press into my heels. So I'm kind of waking up through my Achilles and calf stretch. Now I'm going to engage all my bandhas and raise the leg up, only going parallel to ground with the toes pointing down. With the right leg lifted, consider reaching your left arm forward for bird dog. If that doesn't feel right, you can bend the elbow to modify. Drawing that elbow forward inward toward the knee as the knee moves inward toward the elbow. Breathing out, reaching forward in opposition, breathing in. Elbow and knee drawing together, breathing out. Extending and lengthening, inhale. And once more, drawing in. Reaching out back to the bird dog, stay here, or consider bending the knee, reach the arm in front, around, grab your foot as it makes sense for you, and then kick into the foot for what I call the crossbow. If you can't reach your foot, it's not a big deal, just stay in bird dog. Let's all return to bird dog for one more breath in, and then release back to our child's pose. So here's where I'd like to remind you that today's practice is going to be a more sustained hold into each one of the poses. So if you have to back out of it, that's okay. Finding where what we call the edge is. I don't need you jumping off the edge, but maybe come up and see the view now and then. Return back to all fours. Now we did that series with the left foot, turning the toes under and pressing the heel back, anchoring through your shoulders. So there's lots to be mindful about. So be very mindful of activating your core. Zip your zipper, raise the extended leg up, parallel to ground. Now sometimes that's hard to feel, but you shouldn't feel like it's hanging too low or lifting and straining into your back. So more think of the foot pushing on the wall behind you. And then the opposite arm, so it would be left leg, right arm. Keep reaching through the fingers and foot. And as your next exhale comes along, draw the elbow and knee toward one another. Reaching out and breathing in. Again, drawing together. And reaching out. Once more, drawing together. Reaching and lengthening. The option to stay here or to reach back. Grab the foot as you're able. Kick the foot into the hand as if breaking loose for the crossbow. Returning to the bird dog. Exhale to child's pose. Hips go back, arms can be forward under your head. Take a breath as I bring a little air into my space. So we're going to come up and be on the knees, and I know there can be sensitivity, so this might be a time where you want to bring that blanket or towel back. So you can put both knees on, leave some mat space in front of you. It was really nice. I have a blue mat and I've coordinated well with this room, haven't I, with the pillow and the carpet. Move your left foot forward. So you're really on the knee and your hip is above the knee. Now I'm going to shift forward, and you don't have to do this on a pillow, but be mindful you're rolling over your kneecap. My foot is beyond my knee, so as I go forward, the knee will not overshoot my ankle. So I'm lifting up as I breathe in, and then my free hand, right hand, will move onto the mat. Momentarily release the pressure off your back knee and then reset it. And if palms don't work, you can be on a knuckle. And if you had a block, you could put a block here as well. What I want you to feel is a sinking of the hip downward to open into the front of your hip. So be aware of Uddiyana action as that navel draws in and you're slowly releasing the hip back with the help of your hands. Rising up, putting both hands upon that left leg. Turn the back foot in so you have more of a kickstand stability. Extend the front leg so the toes are up. So we do Uttanasana or forward fold. My hips are forward, my chest is forward. I will go where I will go. So as my heart leads forward, my hands can pause on my thigh, leading forward with the heart. This is like what we did seated in our beginning. If you can, walk below the knee, not upon the knee. And if you should happen to come to the floor or onto your blocks, it's the maintaining of your neutral spine that we're striving for, rather than just trying to go down. So think of going out rather than down. More good morning time for those hamstrings. Again, be mindful to your bandhas and draw yourself up with all the support of your core. As you rise all the way up, return your extended knee back onto your blanket pillow or your mat, so we could do the other side. Reaching the other foot forward, so this is under my knee. Now I move the foot slightly forward. Right now my hips are above the kneeling knee. As I slowly shift forward, release what would be your left hand with your right knee forward down, so you can get off that back knee just for a moment so you're not rolling over it, and then reset it. So it's a sinking through the hips as we open through our groins. So is it different on each side, or is that just me? Engage through your bandhas. As I shift back onto the knee, I turn that foot slightly in to create that kickstand support through my back. As I come up, these early sustained holds are more passive. When we get up, it'll be a bit more challenging. Okay, extending my front leg, right leg, hips and chest forward. Lead from the heart. Take your time. So you feel that pull in the hamstring, gentle. So go where you can go in good form and neutral spine. There's no reason to go to the floor if that's not available. Engage through your core, mindfully draw yourself up, make all the sense of the world. We're going to come to stand, so try not to use your hands, but if you must, you must. Go ahead and rise up to a standing position and then clear your mat of any props that might be nearby. So I'm going to face you on my mat. You can face me on your mat or face at the end of your mat. Either way, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to go wide into a stance. I'm going to do some more forward folds, and if you had a block and you wanted to put it in front of you, we're staying with opening of the hamstrings. So remember the feet position, the heels are spun out, so your edges of your feet are parallel with the edges of the mat. We are going to fold over, so you're going to be dumping into your blood pressure. Keep that under advisement. Thumbs to the small of the back. Roll your shoulders back. As you inhale, lift the heart, or to accommodate your back issue, you might want to push the hips forward to get a bit of a curve. You can look outward, you can look upward, you can look backwards. This is breath in On your breath out, shift your body weight forward, bandhas in, hands slide down as you lean into your toes, going out, maybe over the knees, maybe down onto the shin, holding on to either your legs or, if appropriate, putting your hands on the floor. Some of you might find it appropriate to put your head on the floor between your hands. Do you have to? No, just another place. This is where I ask you to imagine a giant pillow between your legs and you squeeze it ever so gently. Remove your hands to the small of the back so you have protection for your back, and slowly bring yourself up, mindful of your blood pressure, of course, waiting at the top or rolling the shoulders back for your second. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, you can use those hands in any of the previous position, or you can take a 2-finger lock of each hand, grab that big toe without resting your thumb on the mat, and hold on to your toes to affect some pulling into a little more forward fold. Once again, imagining that giant pillow between the legs, releasing the hands to the small of the back as you adduct and squeeze those legs and slowly rise mindfully. One last time, lifting the heart, opening as you extend through your spine. This time the hands will bind, so that can be lacing of the fingers or just grabbing the hands behind you, straightening the elbows, make sure your toes are slightly turned in, and one more forward fold. Check your shoulders, don't feel they're falling downward towards your head and your ears. Pull the shoulders down so the hands will go more upward. So this time, release the hands, and we're going to stay down. So put both hands on your right leg above your knee and begin to bend the right knee as you lift the chest. And for some of you, as you drop the hips, you're going to feel that inner thigh open on that extended leg. And this is fine to stay here well supported. If you go a little lower, maybe you have a block to put your hands on, maybe you put your hands on the floor, maybe you're the person that drops so far down that the leg drops and rotates upward. I'm keeping this knee from falling inward. I'm holding it with my elbow. As I come center, you maybe can walk across the mat as you now straighten the right leg. Feel free to brace onto the leg as you sink into your inner thighs, using the floor, using your blocks. And we're going to go back and do this again with our 5 breaths. So move back to your first side and stay for your 5 breaths. Slowly make your way to the other side, dropping the hips, sinking. Sometimes you'll get a little more. One more breath. As you release, mindfully bending the knees, moving the hands to your thighs, tightening through your belly, bowing the head, and articulating your spine so you roll up ever so slowly. Once you are fully extended and up nice and tall, walk those feet together and do the hokey pokey and shake it all about. Okay, so now in our standing poses, crescent pose, warriors, tree pose, we'll challenge ourselves with duration. Now, I'm going to say the same leg, but you can mirror me, so whichever leg allows you to give the best view so you can check in with yourself. So as you face at the end of your mat, come to your Tadasana. Lift the arms as you breathe in. Join the palms together as you breathe out. Sit your hips back, modified chair pose. Root down on your right foot, raise the left heel up. Do lean a little more forward, so as you step the right foot back, the left foot back, you can wiggle it leaning forward, giving you depth and more stability. Use the hands in the heart as you rise up. Grounding into the front knee, it may want to come up a little, go a little deeper. We've prepared for this. Hands at heart, hands at cactus, hands overhead, as you would wish. Stay on the ball of the back foot. Back leg is straight. Now, depending on your orientation, you're either going to lean forward, bring the hands back to the heart, and step the back foot up. If your orientation allows you to see me by moving to the long end of the mat, and then turning the front foot, raising the back heel, and coming into your crescent pose on the other side, you could do that as well. So if you were here, you're going to lean forward and step up and establish Tadasana. If you are accessing the side of your mat, you turn to get into your crescent pose and step up. Either way. Tadasana, the arms lift on breath in, palms together, modified chair pose on breath out. Leaning now, standing on your other leg, so likely your left leg. Stepping back while you lean forward, go a little further forward, go deep, go long. When ready, upright the body, don't let the knee bring you up. Stay down, stay on the ball of your foot, sink, arms here, arms here, arms here. Again, the hands to the heart and the same options, leaning forward, stepping the back foot up, or if you're wanting to come around, you come up, stand center, turn, lift the heel up, and then step up. All right, to our warrior, Tadasana. Arms lift, hands at heart, modified chair pose. Stand on the right, lift up your left, step back through the crescent pose, drop the right heel, pointing the back leg on that diagonal. Use the hands at the heart to lift up, keeping your hips and chest forward as we move into Virabhadrasana 1. Check the front knee, come a little deeper. So as you're rolling into pinky toe, hands can stay at the heart, hands can come back to cactus, arms can go overhead. If you feel your body is turning, touch your body and feel it and correct it. So you can be where you want to be. Returning the hands to the heart. So if you're going to go to the other side with me, you will follow me. If not, you raise the back heel, lean forward and step up to your front of your mat. Otherwise, straighten the front leg, turn forward, turn, back heel up and step up. Tadasana. This is where you use that perhaps word that you've been thinking of. Bring it back into your practice. Inhale, arms lift, hands to heart, hips back, chest forward, knees bent. Your other leg, so for me it's the right leg stepping back long, then I drop the heel down, rolling onto my pinky toe, hips and chest forward. As I rise up, there is a tendency to come up, so reconnect to your grounded. Hands here, hands here, hands here. Wherever you feel you would like your hands. Roll into pinky toe, chin up. Let's all return the hands to the heart. Lean forward, either flip the back heel up and step up, or straighten the front leg, turn to the long end. Move your other foot, raise the back heel. We all come to Tadasana. Arms lift, breathe in. Hands to heart, sit back, breathe out. Stand on your first leg. For most of us, that's going to be the right leg. Step back into that long crescent pose, drop the heel, right hand on the right knee. Make sure that knee is out over the ankle so you just see the tips of your toes. Reach your left arm forward. Keep looking forward as the left arm, keep looking forward, reaches back behind you. Palm is down, reach back. Keep the front knee bent, raise the front arm up. Warrior two. Relax your shoulders. So I open, my torso is facing the long end of my mat. Option one, bring both hands into the heart, flip the heel up and step forward. Option two, both hands to the heart, straighten the front leg, turn toward the long end, on over to the opposite. Lift the back heel, step up, be a mountain. So regather your strength, arms lift, breathe in. Hands to heart, sit back. Now stand on your other leg, your left leg as the right leg steps back long, drops. So now your left hand comes down, observe, are you too far behind? Get that knee out so you just see the tips of your toes. Back heel is down, reach the right arm forward. Keep looking forward. Turn the body, not just the arm reaching back, turn the body as if someone is moving your shoulder back. The body turns to the long end of the mat, reach behind you. As you stand up, let the left arm hover above your front leg. Virabhadrasana 2. Reach through the tips of the fingers. Reinvested in your breath. So as our hands come to the heart, you either pivot on the back foot and step up to the front of the mat, or straighten the foot, turn toward the long end, reposition to the other side, step up and be a mountain. Now we have one more in this series. Inhale, lift, arms up. Exhale, sit back. Stand on your first foot or the right foot. step back, drop the heel, establish your warrior position. Right hand on right knee. Left hand comes behind you, open palm on the small of your back. Someone pulls that left shoulder or top shoulder back so you turn toward the long end of the mat. So you can stay with hand here, this is fine. You could lower onto your forearm. You could reach your hand inside. And you can keep the hand on the back, or you can reach the arm all the way up, looking toward the high hand. So you may be here, you may be here, you may be here. Bring the hands to the heart, bring the body up. Same option, either pivot, step up to the early part of the mat, turn, go to the other side as you step up, Tadasana. Heart rate going. Lift the arms, sit in a chair, stand on your left foot, step back long and drop the heel. Left hand, right hand, open palm on the back. Someone pushes that shoulder back and you open. Can stay on the hand, can go to the forearm, can reach below. I'm not resting on the floor. You choose, stay here, reach here. Hands to your heart, bring the body up. Let's all turn to the long end of the mat as the hands come down and walk your feet together. How are those hips? So let's take the opening that we've been working on with our hips into our garland pose. Now, I have a couch here. You may have something nearby. It can be helpful, or a block to sit on. So if I were to use this couch, not to sit on it, that I would separate my feet with a slight hip open, bring my hands on my thighs, feel the couch behind me as I lower down, my heels are down, I'm leaning against the couch as I wedge my knees open. So you can see what this allows me to do is keep my torso open. You may not have a sofa where you are, so you can use as you've seen me demonstrate before, a block under, or some of us can just get here without it. But there's a tendency to round forward, so the nice thing about having a stable item like a chair or a sofa behind you is that you can bring your chest upright and hold those knees open. Now, because of the previous work we've done in our poses, this might be more accessible. Are your heels down? And if you say this is not what you feel your body should do, you come to a modified position of being here. So for those of you who'd like a wee bit more challenge today, 3 times we're going to stand up from this position. So as I squeeze through my bum and raise the hands up, and exhale, go back down to wherever down makes sense for you. And again, squeeze and rise. You get to be you, and maybe you only come down to here, which is fine. And one more time, we'll come all the way up. Now I'm going to come down onto my mat, and then we'll be sitting on the mat. Yes, that time has come. So I could just sit back. I could put my hands back, kind of fall back. Oh boy, we're down. Okay, I'm going to sit facing the short end of my mat, and I'm going to roll down my spine. For some people, that's not so appropriate, or at least not unsupported. Here's where I'm going to grab my strap and my towel. And I'll be using them in a few moments, but you could, If you needed a little extra support, let's just say as you're going down, you felt like you were not able to hold the back of your legs, you could put the towel behind the leg or the strap, and as you roll yourself down, you have a little assist. You can use the tools. So hands can be on the knees, and feel that you're velcroing your spine, one vertebra at a time going down, and one vertebra at a time coming up. If you could do this without your hands, bravo. Anchor through the shoulders, mindfully, bandhas, bandhas, bandhas. Roll yourself down, and bring yourself back up. So it's more about being mindful than it is about doing sit-ups. If you're using a towel or something as we continue on, you might look something like this. As you train those muscles. So we'll go one more time, rolling down. Breathing out as you roll up. Nice. So you can have your knees bent or you can have your legs straight. And I wouldn't be opposed if you even wanted to cross your legs for a feeling of being more anchored. So you have two sides of the long side of the mat, one to each side of you. The arms will be nice and tall, as will you be with your spine. So this is a rotation and a reach. I slide my hand down the long edge, reaching back toward the center of the short edge, and then draw back up and elongate my spine. Zip your zipper, activate the back of your spine. Then the other side, reach, sweep back, and come up. So I've just observed that to one side, I easily moved toward the center of my mat in the back, and on the other side, it was much harder. Ascertain for yourself where your strength and weakness are and strive to balance it. Maybe do a little better on the hard side. Open that chest to make the reaching a little easier. We'll go one more to each side. Reach, sweep, squeeze your legs together, and come up. Here's the other option if the knees were bent. And now we go down onto the back. So have your straps or towels nearby. So we come down on the back. Well, this feels good. Are your legs shaking a little bit, or is that just mine? So get yourself kind of relaxed here. So I'm going to use the towel, but you could do the strap. And if you did the strap, remember, hold the buckle, and you may want to double the strap up. So the arms are straight overhead. My feet are placed for bridge pose. Bandhas, shoulders, everything is engaged. When my bum is down, my arms will be over my head. Now what this tends to do is arch your back. So I need for you to stay tight and firm with your belly without pushing the low back down into the mat. When your arms come up, elevate your hips until your arms end up on the thighs with your strap or towel. Down again, and arms go over. Manage your spine by tightening your belly, raising the hips, and lowering the arms to your thighs. So we're going to do this a little faster, going down and going up. Check the positioning of your spine as you move. The body will look for the easiest path. You may be inclined to want to stay up or stay down. That's okay. Next time you're up, we will stay up. I'm pulling the towel apart. If you have a strap, you're pulling it so it's very taut. Ground into all parts of the feet, strengthening through our backside. Now I'm going to release the towel or the strap from my hands. Let the hands release to the mat. Push up a wee bit higher. And now articulate your spine from the upper back, pulling in through the belly button, through the lower back, releasing down through your low back. That's pretty yummy, huh? Go ahead and bring those knees into the chest and let's circle the ankles. Ooh, popping and cracking here. And we're going to roll to our side and stay on this side. Doesn't matter what side, we'll do both sides. So I want my knees bent, and I want to be on my forearm with my finger pointing, so my body is facing the long end of the mat, my knees are stacked, my feet are stacked. We do this often, so this is a familiar one. Can happen, so you want to pull out. This is our upper body strengthening. So it says option 1, the most simplest option, and if things are feeling a challenge, you're either going to hold in this position, or you're going to add the lift to the hips. And then for those of you who say, I need more of a challenge today, both feet extend, working to seal the inner edges and balance on the outer edge of your foot. You elevate your hips with the legs together. So just a moment, figure out which one is the best for you. And remember, anchor those shoulders and breathe. We traditionally look to the high hand. So pick your position and count your 5 breaths. As you exhale, your hips come down if they were up, your knees bend in if they were straight, the hand comes down, and we transition to the other side. You can just roll around and listen to me, you don't have to look at me. I'm pretending to look at you. So same options. So this one, let's just say your shoulders aren't feeling too good. This is lovely. This has got a lot going for it. Elevating the hips with knees bent, or extending legs straight out and elevating the hips with the longer, what they call lever. Make sure this elbow and shoulder have a stacked relationship, not too far out. Bandhas, go ahead and assume your position, looking to the high hand and breathe. Making your way down if the hips are up and the arm comes down, and we'll sit facing one another. Did you find one side to be a little more challenging? As I sit with my ankles crossed, I'm just going to release that tension, that strengthening, going around. And then a few times the other way. So we're going to open a little bit more in the front of our thighs, staying in those crescent pose and warriors as we did earlier, puts a lot of demand on our quads. So strap or towel, again, there's my towel, and you have some variations. You can do this from the belly. We'll be doing one leg at a time, not the full bow pose. So you may want to do it from the side. So you create a loop, and remember, if you have the buckle, hold it in your hand, and it makes a little loop that goes around your ankle. So I put the towel around my ankle, go back and lay on one side or the other. The knees are bent, and you can stay up on your elbow, raising the top leg, holding the leg. So if I let go of my towel, my leg falls down. And then as that leg moves back, I lean forward and I rest that leg until I feel the front of my thigh. You can lay down on your side with the head down, bottom leg slightly forward for balance, and again, hold that leg in that strap or towel and lean a little forward and just feel the weight of your leg. Third option is to do this from your belly. So you have it here, and you just hold the heel towards your bum. And some of you may say, I don't need a towel, thank you. And you'll hold the heel to your bum. Now for those of you on the belly, holding your heel to your bum, if you were to think of pushing your hip downward into the mat a little more, you'd get a little more out of those quads. Slowly release as you set up onto the other side. For a while, I'm going to show you the back side, and I'll be using a towel to show you how it looks from the other side, just so you make sure you've got the parameters covered. So I put this over my ankle, strap or towel. I bend my knees. I can be up on my elbow or down on my side. The bottom leg goes forward for balance. Take the top leg back, and then feel the leg heavy as you hold the leg and pull it back behind you. Slowly release, coming onto your belly with your props away. Slide the hands just under the shoulders, toes turned under. So you're going to elevate the hips so you could slide your hands under your hip bones. You can leave your knees down. Elbows hug in, shoulders are anchored. Lift your hips and chest at the same time, slowly coming up until you're on the hands and knees. If you can do this from hands and toes, wonderful. Elbows are in. Now as you go down, the hips are going to want to come ahead of you. You hold on to the hips. Imagine I'm holding them for you. Keep your chin up and lower the chest and hips so they land softly at the same time. Use your exhale as you're going up, hips up. Slowly lower down, chin up. Hug those elbows in, hips up. And down. Do your best, twice more, hips up. And down, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. Last time we're going to stay up, so bottoms up, shoulders down, press up. Move those hips on into a child's pose. So the arms can be extended in prayer or under your forehead as you wish. Let's all reach our arms out into the center. Leave your left hand out, palm down. Pull your right palm up and under your face. Reach the right hand under your left shoulder. Turn and look under the left shoulder. Mindfully drag that right hand in. Extend it out. Remember, they're not just wide, they're narrow. They're in the middle of the mat. Leave the right palm down. Flip the left palm up. Draw it back under your face. Slide it under your shoulder. I come up on the fingertips of my extended arm. Full breaths. Drag your hand back under. Make your way up. So you can leave your feet under if you can sit on your heels. You can turn your toes under and sit back on your heels. And if either one of those are difficult for your knees, do what you can for as long as you can. Release out of it when you need to. For those who say, you know, I think I could even put my hands back on the floor, I said, okay, why don't we do that? Shoulders back. Walk your hands back up onto your backs for a little bit more for our hips. As however you get there, you're going to put your right ankle upon your left thigh, lift the left foot up. You can either reach behind that left leg using your elbow to push the knee open, or you can do as I do, just put one hand at each end of the right leg and then draw in. So this foot is pushing in to the ankle of the right foot and the right knee is pushing away. Now, as we've learned over time, if you lean a little with your right foot crossed on top to the left, it really gives a more full opening in through that whole region, the glutes involved. Sit down your feet, put your left ankle on your right thigh, either reach around using that elbow to keep the knee open or using your hand. The feet are active, and then play around with it a little. Setting your feet down, opening your arms outward. Let both knees fall to the right as your head looks to the left. Now totally surrender the legs. It's not uncommon for that bottom leg to still hold tension. Let it go, let it go. Isn't that a song from the movie Frozen, Let It Go? Now to retrieve from this, I'm going to right my head so my head will look up, and then I'm going to raise the top leg. So on this side, it's the left leg up first, followed by the right leg up. It will serve you better should you ever have a back issue. Let the knees fall off to the left, look to the right. Surrender your body to the weight of gravity. So for some people, they're going to feel that in the top leg thigh. For some others, it'll be more in the back. Slow, full breaths. So bring your head neutral, raise the top leg up and the bottom leg up. You can stretch your spine. If you're ready to move into Shavasana and you're all ready to go, you can put yourself in that position. If you need to put your slippers on or some socks on, maybe you want your legs bent, maybe you want your legs straight, maybe you want a pillow under your knees or under your head, maybe you'd rather do this from your side, maybe you want to lay on your belly. All these variations are yours to choose. So we come to the end of our practice, which is an important part of our practice, you know. This part of our practice is where we find ourselves. So monkey mind may come up, that can be a thing. So you let your body rest on Mother Earth. As you're slowing the breath and you become aware of the weight of your head, the relaxation through your jaw, the heaviness through your shoulders, the weight of your torso, the length and weight of your legs all the way down to your toes. As we lay in this quiet pose, requesting nothing from our body for movement, it will take care of you. It will breathe. It will relax. You will be accessing the parasympathetic nervous system to better find that quiet time that balances in with our active time. And then as you lay, in a few more moments, the mind might get a little busy and start looking for something. And this is your time to practice allowing that to pass without looking for something or without holding on to that thought or idea. So it's like having two doors. The thought comes in one door, and then you open the other door and let it just pass on through. So give yourself this time. It is a gift to totally surrender. Feel safe, feel nourished, feel protected, feel honored. Wait until the singing bowl and let this time be yours. And there, my friends, is the singing bowl to welcome you back from that quiet moment, that well-deserved moment, just with you. And so as you retain that space of laying on your back or side, or move to a more comfortable position to take in these thoughts today. So there has been research done addressing having a constantly busy mind, and they have found there are side effects. Apparently, it permanently reduces our ability to think. To protect our brains, according to science, it's necessary to balance intense focus with idleness. However, in our fast-paced world, where every spare moment is filled with checking our phones, this reset is often neglected. This constant stimulation trains our brains to crave busyness, making it harder to disconnect. So, neuroscientists have written on this subject and have pointed out that information overload keeps us trapped in a cycle of noise, sapping both our willpower and creativity. And so the explanation to prevent this overload is that we need to hit the reset button, which means carving out space in our day for lying around, meditating, or staring into nothing. So my cousin said he just stares at his bird feeder and could do that all day. So however you can find that peace inside, sometimes yoga can do it. So go ahead, bring yourself to a seated position. So we had our practice today of being in the poses a little bit longer, and I hope that served you well. As you extend the arms to the side, take a breath, let the arms rise all the way up. Join the palms together, bring the hands into the heart, and as always, the goodness in me honors the goodness in you. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day, however it is that you should spend it.